That is the best intro we've ever had because like we weren't like flipping back and forth. It wasn't like a random 1 second little clip of our faces.
Did you
That
click
was
this twice?
I
Or
only clicked it
it's
once.
just, yeah,
It was
exactly.
beautiful. It was beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. How's it going, guys? Welcome to episode 79 of the Sports Desk. And Jack and I have a special announcement to make. Longtime fans of the uSTADIUM market, longtime fans of the Sports Desk, we would like to welcome our wonderful third host, Mr. Josh. How's it going, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to join and hopefully another 79 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, we're approaching like 100. Like the big
It's close.
is coming very soon.
I thought I messaged
excited
you
about.
earlier today. I thought we were on 80. I was like, oh my god, we are really close. Like,
Yeah, we are rolling through episodes. We've started this the second week, January 2021. Thank you guys for sticking in. We appreciate the comments, the super chats. We appreciate Chris in the chat. How's it going, man? I'm ready for fantasy football. Usually like mid-July, I start joining a bunch of leagues. And people on the app criticize me for drafting in July and drafting in early August. Well, I can draft whenever the heck I want to draft, and I'm still going to win your league. So eat it. Josh, when's the best time to draft for you for fantasy?
See, we do our draft in person, so we do start of August before everyone goes back to school. But I think the later you wait, the better it is.
Okay, that's fair. Jack, when do you want to draft for fantasy?
I can agree with that. I usually do my drafts like the week before, like I don't know if there's like an off week. There isn't usually an off week, but between preseason and regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like between that time is when I draft. I know that's a small window, but it's like the best possible chance to see like who's going to be on what roster, because you never know between now and the start of week one, something big can happen. So another big name player like OBJ, we don't know where he is right now.
Right.
He could end up on another team right now. So
yeah, that's absolutely fair. Chris says never early. I've been drafting since the Super Bowl ended. I love it. I like doing it. I like staggering them. I like because you see the player pool shift a little bit. It's an environment. It's like its own organism, if you will. Like you have players move up and move down, and depending on when you draft, you can have an insane draft class. Like you can just get quality player after quality player after quality player. And it just kind of depends on, when you're drafting, right? There was the 1 year, even last year, if you drafted J.K. Dobbins in mid-June, too bad for you because he got hurt. But if you drafted, I don't know, if you threw a late round flyer on Phillip Lindsay back in the day, James Robinson back in the day, you made out like a bandit. And that's one of the fun things that I think of with fantasy football is that just the differences in each league that I might draft on July 30th, I might draft on August 30th, I might draft on September 3rd, and I'm going to have 3 totally different teams. I'm going to have 3 totally different strategies, and that's part of the fun to me. And Chris bringing up one of the saddest days in recent sports history. If you're a fantasy football guy, that is rough. Did either of you draft Luck that year?
No, but I was about to say our draft was the night before.
Oh
He
man,
retired. Man, the kid had only drafted Angelo as quarterback and didn't turn out too well.
No. That's actually a tragedy. Oh man.
I think about it and I like it just. Oh boy, can you imagine like if I like that's like if I drafted like Stafford in my fantasy league and then he just randomly retired. Or like Aaron Donald, he decided to retire.
Yes.
Like that was
IDP league, you draft Aaron Donald. Oh man, that would be rough. But before I introduce another special guest, I have a sad story from last year's fantasy, just based on like the timing. So we drafted in between J.K. Dobbins getting hurt, or right before J.K. Dobbins got hurt. I had Gus Edwards as like contingency plan. Right, we're cool, we're vibing. And then J.K. Dobbins gets hurt, and Gus Edwards goes flying through the roof, average draft position. And I am like, okay, cool. Actually, no, I didn't draft him. It was Jacob in the league. So Jacob drafted Gus Edwards. His stock goes flying through the roof. And I'm like, hey, Jacob, how do you feel about me sending you Jonathan Taylor? and you give me Gus Edwards. And he's like, absolutely. So we're about to make the trade. We are mere moments from making the trade. And he gets another offer from a guy that's like 2 wide receivers, like Terry McLaurin and someone else. So they are bickering back and forth because he's going to get more than Jonathan Taylor. Well, he waited too long. Gus Edwards tears his ACL, and he did not end up playing at all. So poor Jacob got hosed there. So with that said, a little bit of a different show structure today. We do have 2 special guests, 2 of my good friends, 2 of my co-hosts with a different podcast. Let's talk some baseball. I know, Josh, you're a big baseball guy. Jack, you're a big Dodgers fan. So let's welcome. Hopefully this will work. I don't know what's happening to Alex's stream. Okay, we're going to welcome Mr. Matthias, a.k.a. Mac, big Mets fan, also a Steelers fan, so boo to the both of them. How's it going, man?
It's going splash. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So, Mac, this is Jack and Josh. Let's talk about the big news today in Major League Baseball. Juan Soto declined a 15-year, $440 million contract extension with the Washington Nationals. This means the Nationals, they've said, hey, we're going to explore trade options. So technically, all 29 other teams are interested in getting one of the best players in baseball, one of the best players in baseball ever through age 23. But only a handful of teams can cobble together a package of prospects and current major leaguers that might satisfy the Nationals. So we're going to go around the horn. I want you to give me one team that you think can give the best offer for Soto, even if the Nationals might not take it because they're the Mets and in the division, or they're the Braves and in the division, or the Phillies, or whomever. Who do you think can put up the best offer for Mr. Juan Soto? As our guest, Mac, let's begin with you, sir.
That is a very tough question because personally, I think the team currently can put together a package to get Juan Soto. I'm being completely honest because remember, this is a guy who isn't a free agent until 2025, but he's also only going to be 26 when he hits free agency. So I'm looking at an asking price for the Nationals. You're looking at multiple big league ready guys and multiple top prospects. And I'm not looking, all right, some mid-range guys. I'm talking top 5 organizational prospects. That's who you're looking at. If I'm going to say who's going to trade for him, the teams I could see maybe get him are the Astros. And then I know this is going to sound homerish, but I think the Mets also have a chance. Here's the thing is, should the Mets try to get him, they'd have to give up, Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos, Ronnie Mauricio, Matt Allen, basically like all of their top prospects, in addition to a guy like David Peterson and Tyler McGill, in my opinion. So that's a lot. And for the Astros, I mean, you probably have to center it around like Jeremy Pena or even Kyle Tucker, maybe it takes, because Soto's just a traditional. So it's almost impossible for me to see Soto get traded, at least this year. Maybe this offseason he gets traded, but right now I don't see how anyone gets it.
For sure. So we also are adding in Alex, one of my good friends. We do the Cheap Seats Chatter podcast brought to you by Overtime Heroics Baseball Podcast. Check it out. Alex, big Mariners fan, Seahawks fan. Welcome in. Who is your go-to team that could trade for Mr. Juan Soto?
So this is kind of a bit of a weird question to me because there's one name that's always been thrown around. It's not a team, but there's one name that's been thrown around a lot when these trade talks are going on, and that's Herschel Walker. That this could be Herschel Walker-esque trade level where I don't know what that means for the sole purpose of, does that mean on the Vikings side or on the Cowboys side of it? Because we all, as everyone knows here, again, with the Vikings, they got Herschel Walker, who was Herschel Walker for 2 plays and then died. And then the Cowboys built a dynasty. So in this case, this seems like a bit of a double-edged sword to me. Yes, Juan Soto is an incredible ball player. Yes, Juan Soto is not going to be a free agent until he's 26. And if you're going to sign him, you're going to basically sign him as a lifer. If you try to sign Juan Soto for anything less than that, then you're the problem and you're just not going to have a chance at it. So I think that this is going to be a very interesting deal because I don't think, in my personal opinion, teams should trade for Juan Soto. I really don't. And the reason why is because, like we said, you're going to need to have a package of multiple MLB-ready guys and top prospects to make that. You're going to be throwing an entire organization at one man. Baseball is a sport with 26 and 27 men on the roster, and throwing it all for one is a problem. We've seen that not work with so many other teams here. There have been a couple names that have been thrown around that I could at least see it happening for, but I don't, like I said, I don't think he should be traded at all. I think that any team that wants to get Soto needs to wait, because otherwise that package is just going to be way too high for you to actually build anything from it. I think there are two teams that have come to my mind. The first of which, I keep hearing ideas that the Mariners should go for him, and I'm like, please no. As much as I would love Juan Soto, as much as Juan Soto being in a Mariner jersey would just make me audibly scream out Madonna music, it would be... I can only imagine it would basically take every single one of our, like, main prospects, and then probably, like, Winker, Suarez, and then maybe even Frazier, all that. No, I don't want that. One thing that at least was interesting to me was the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles right now are in a very weird position where they are, not to be rude, obviously, but they're the joke of the AL East. But even then, they're still doing good. Like, I mean, the Orioles are still on a massive tear right now. So, say that they're a joke is a little bit mean, I guess. But right now, that division is so stacked right now. Why not throw a few pieces at the wall? Why not throw a bunch of pieces where, even if you have to say maybe even give up Rushman? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm guessing that would probably be in the asking price for Soto. Giving up a lot of prospects and a lot of top-level guys to get him would actually be kind of a good idea, because then that would help the team start rebuilding from scratch right there, to then when the other teams start to die down, when the Blue Jays start to lose all their pieces, when the Yankees start losing their pieces, Red Sox, etc., when they start losing their pieces, that's when the Orioles can really strike and then start to build that dynasty off of Juan Soto and other pieces.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I know, Josh, you were on the uSTADIUM Twitter space today. Make sure you drop a follow on the uSTADIUM Twitter pages. And someone brought up the Orioles, and I think it's a interesting discussion there of, do you trade Rutschman? Is Grayson Rodriguez the untradeable piece in that ordeal? And you have the Orioles have an embarrassment of riches in the prospect pool that you kind of can't play like 5 middle infielders. You can only play 2 of them. Maybe one moves over to third base. Maybe one moves into the outfield, but you can't play, 15 guys at once that are the same value. And this is the same sort of deal that perhaps you look at for other teams. Say, I'll use the Braves as an example. If you're confident you can re-sign Dansby Swanson, Braden Shoemake is pointless, because you have Austin Riley, you have Dansby Swanson, you have Ozzie Albies, you have Matt Olson. Either they're locked up, Ozzie and Olson, or about to be locked up, Dansby, and in a year or 2 from now, Riley's going to be locked up. So there's no place for Shoemake, and he's not going to play in the outfield. So he's kind of pointless at this point. Same thing that happened to Pache when you love Harris. Same thing happens to Drew Waters when you love Michael Harris. So the organizational chess pieces, you have to figure out what pieces you like in your organization, what pieces you think are tradable, and what pieces you think that other teams think are valuable. And you can trade for a Matt Olson using your former top prospect. You can trade for a top 40 pick in the draft tomorrow with the guy that used to be your number 1 prospect. So I'll throw it over to Josh. Who do you think can put together the best offer for Juan Soto?
For me, obviously I'm a Yankees fan. I think they can put out a good package, but I think it starts and ends with, will the Orioles make an offer for him? I put a post in the app saying they're the team with the best offer, and people are saying, why would they ever trade Adley? Adley's older than Juan Soto, and Juan Soto's arguably the best player in baseball, and he's yet to hit his prime. And Alex made a great point. That's like, you look at Mike Trout, who's arguably the best player ever, and he's made the playoffs once in his career. So do you want to trade all those prospects for him? I don't know, but I think the Orioles you get Juan Soto today. I think they're better than the Red Sox. I think they're better than the Blue Jays, better than the Rays. I mean, I did say earlier in the year on the show that I think the Astros will get him this year, which is looking a little bad. But I think the Astros can put together a good package. It just, I don't know if he wants to go to the Orioles, and that's my thing. So I do think the Astros have the best chance to land him.
All right, now I'm going to toss it over to Jack, the resident Dodgers fan. Who do you think can put together the best package for Mr. Juan Soto?
I'm not going to say the Dodgers, first of all, because you would be, like you guys are saying, there would be a lot of prospects and like MLB ready guys involved in that trade. And I know the Dodgers have a lot of depth, but like, I don't know how many MLB ready guys that you have on your roster that you'd be willing to trade away for one guy. I think I might just jump on the Oriole train because it feels like I was reading that post. It feels like they have like one of the better offer potentials there. I just, like you guys are saying, you have to trade so many pieces away for one person, and it's just like, it's kind of a risk too, because like you mentioned with the Angels too, like you've got Mike Trout, who's many people consider, myself included, I consider Mike Trout the best player in baseball right now. He has made the playoffs once and got swept. Shohei's not doing a whole lot over there. Like, he's kicking ass for sure, but he's not like, I wouldn't call the Angels a contending team, because what are they, like second to last in their division right now?
Yes, I think Texas has passed them in Seattle. Shout out to Alex's Mariners. They are absolutely steamrolling the world right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump on the Oriole train.
I think that's fair. Go ahead, Josh.
I'm just saying too, I think we'll be able to tell a little bit about the Orioles thinking at the trade deadline. If they trade Trey Mancini, trade Lopez, maybe they're trying to get some more prospects for a Juan Soto trade, because now they're at a point where they don't really need to sell. They're, I think, 2 games back from the wild card, so it really wouldn't make sense to trade those players. Maybe they're thinking for the future, we can get Soto. Let's get some more prospects to beef up our offer.
Yeah, and it's tough. I'm going to compare this to Oklahoma City and what they're doing with draft pick hoarding. So obviously the picks you have, or the prospects the Orioles have value. They might have major league value. They might have value for another team. So you have to look at that and say, not all of these guys are going to make it. Some of them might make it with another team. Some of them just won't make it. So we have to capitalize on that production right now. Like, you look at the will they, won't they trade pieces. Well, sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. And if you're the Orioles, you have to pick your guy. You have to, I hate to be the Braves homer, but you have to pick your Michael Harris out of your outfield guys. You have to pick the Spencer Strider out of your pitching prospects. Like, you have to hit those, and then you can use the other pieces either as depth moving forward, or go get a Juan Soto, right? Or go get these talented pieces. And heck, what's stopping the Orioles from doing something crazy? I'm going to throw this out there. What if you use Adley in a package to get Soto, and then you bring in Wilson Contreras from Chicago, and you move into the future with Contreras catching and Soto in right field? And yes, you lose Adley, and yes, you probably are losing another top prospect. DL Hall was a name mentioned often on the space today. You're probably losing a pitching prospect. You might lose Grayson Rodriguez is up there as well. I think you lose one or the other in terms of Adley and Grayson Rodriguez. Probably not both. I don't know. Maybe the Nationals want both. Maybe you get the top 3 from the Orioles. But if I'm the Orioles, I think you have to maximize what you're getting from the prospects. And that's not always going to be just having them play at the major league level. Sometimes it's packaging a couple of them together and trading it to a team and getting, the likes of Soto. And Jack, your Rams do this really well, that they use draft capital to fill out their roster, but they trade their high-value draft capital to go get a superstar in Matthew Stafford, go get a superstar in Jalen Ramsey, and they won a Super Bowl. And I think if the Orioles say, hey, we have a guy that's blocked in our infield, for example, and we trade him and get another outfielder, or get another pitching prospect, or get another MLB-ready pitcher, progress can be made very quickly in short order on the opposite side of the beltway. So
One thing I would like to bring up, actually, when it comes to the Orioles making a trade package for this, I would not be surprised at all to see potentially having both Rodriguez and Rushman in the deal, just because I think when you look at the player, like you brought up the great point earlier of that Rushman is older than Soto. Like, that amount of time on the clock is already more in Soto's favor. Rushman is an amazing prospect. Do not get me wrong. But Soto is MLB ready and has more time on the clock. So I think at that point, if I had to put together a package for this, tell me, this is why I'm on the idea of I don't think a trade should happen. I think if you're the Orioles, you're putting together a package that includes Rushman, it includes Rodriguez, it includes Mancini, and probably includes Mountcastle in there too, and potentially then another 1 to 2 other players, whether it be prospects or MLB ready. Because like we said, this is a move that if the Nationals make it happen, they are fully committing on this rebuild going through. But on top of it, they're also going to be getting a bunch of players that are ready to play in the MLB and a bunch of players that are going to be ready to start taking over that division right now. Because like we've seen, Mancini and Mountcastle are doing pretty darn good. I think Hayes even is doing really darn good with the Orioles too. So that could even be something that could entice the Nationals a little bit more. But trading a team for one player is, in my opinion, just bad baseball mechanics. That's just a bad way to go about things because, again, baseball is a team sport. It's not tennis. It's not golf. Not basketball. That's, again, a much shorter amount of team, but still a team sport. It is a game that requires 26 to 27 men, and that's where it goes from there. What do you do at that point? Do you sell the farm for magic beans?
I agree in a sense with you don't trade that much for him, but if you're the Orioles, you're never getting a player that good in free agency. You're not the Yankees, you're not the Dodgers, you're not the Astros. If it takes trading away your 2 top prospects to get a player who is going to be on your team for the next 10 years and be the face of the MLB for the next 10 years, you got to do it. You don't get that chance that often.
I'm going, I agree with Alex though that is it really worth trading your whole roster basically to get Juan Soto? Look, I think Juan Soto is the best hitter in baseball right now, probably. If not, he's one of them at least. But at the same time, Adley Rutschman is the best catching prospect we've seen in a very long time. He's a switch hitter. He's young, and he's looked big league ready lately. He's looked like the cornerstone of the Orioles franchise. In my opinion, I'm not trading him also because, what if Will Ferris doesn't stay with Baltimore? Then who's your catcher? And, good offensive catchers are a dime a dozen nowadays. So, in my opinion, I don't think it's worth giving up a guy like Rutschman. Also, Contreras is going to be over 30. He's on the wrong side of 30. And catchers can have really bad declines. We saw it with Joe Mauer in the past. We saw it with Brian McCann most recently. He also sort of tailed off. We're seeing it with James McCann now. We will most. It's all these guys decline really badly, and a lot of them have to move away from being a catcher. So that's why I think Rutschman is the untouchable guy, actually. And that's the thing, though, is that Grayson Rodriguez is knocking on the doorstep of being the majors. Injured right now, though. So it's really tough. While I think the Orioles have the pieces, is it really worth sacrificing all that for one player? In my opinion, you have to get – if you're giving up all that, just get Soto. While Soto's great, we already see the situation in Washington where it's just him carrying the team, and they still have the worst record in baseball. So it's not worth giving up Rutschman, in my opinion. I don't even know if it's worth giving up Rodriguez. So while it would be interesting for sure to see the Orioles get Juan Soto, I just don't know if it's worth trading all that to get him.
Yeah, I agree. I said it earlier. I do think the Astros will end up getting him. They're willing. They've showed Verlander they're willing to make that move. I don't think any NL East team has a chance. I don't know. The Yankees come down to Judge. I think they're going to re-sign Judge. Why? Keep Peraza, keep Volpe, be set in your infield for the next 10 years and have Judge. So I think it's Astros. Maybe the Red Sox can make a move. They have Marcelo Meyer. They have Casas. They have a couple prospects, maybe them, but they also shown they wouldn't pay Mookie Betts. So what's going to change now where they're going to pay Soto? So I think there's not too many. It's kind of like the KD thing. There's only so many teams that can give up what he wants, and he has leverage. He can say, no, I'm not going to sign with you in 2 years, and then why are teams going to trade away their future for him? So I think he also has some leverage in where he goes.
Absolutely. And I think I want to make one quick point on the Red Sox. Re-sign Rafi Devers, please. I have him in fantasy baseball as my keeper. I just need 45 doubles a year for the next 10 years. Please and thank you. So one quick around the horn. Where will Juan Soto be playing December 1st, 2021 or 2022? Will he get traded before then? Will he still be a National? Alex, you're first.
You said what date again?
December 1st, 2022. What team will be paying Juan Soto's contract?
Nationals. They're not going to trade him. I don't think there's going to be a team in there that is going to be able to cough up that kind of package and actually do it on purpose like that. Like, the Orioles, in my opinion, are the most interesting team. Like, you brought up the Astros a good bit, and the Astros, yes, I think they could, but at the same point, that one's going to be more of a package of MLB ready players, I think, more than prospects, and I think the Nationals are going to be going mostly for prospects at this point. I think that the Orioles are going to be the closest to it, but even then, I don't think it's going to happen. I think, like Max said, you don't trade Rutschman just because solid catchers are so much more harder to get than power hitting outfielders. I think at this point right now, no team is going to be able to bite on it. No team is going to be able to make that kind of deal that the Nationals want. The Nationals will still be the contract holders for Juan Soto come December 1st.
All right, Mac, your pick.
Much like it was in the summer of 2018 when they almost got Bryce Harper, I think the Astros will come close to a deal to get Soto, but they will ultimately not get him. I think he's staying with the Nationals. Maybe he gets traded later in the offseason.
Josh.
Astros, it'll be Hunter Brown, Kyle Tucker, and maybe Jeremy Pena.
Jack.
He's staying on the Nationals for the rest of his contract.
Ooh, okay. I made a take on the uSTADIUM app that Juan Soto would be a New York Met by August 1st. I think it's kind of like a double jinx here. So, like, if it happens, then I win uSTADIUM points. If it doesn't happen, then, like, great, he's still on the Nationals. So, I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Mac. It was great. We love baseball talk on the uSTADIUM network. Make sure you drop a follow for Alex at the Sports Guy 242 on Twitter, and drop a follow for Mr. at Matthias_A_K on the tweets. Thank you guys. Anything you want to plug?
Just first, I want to say thanks for having me on. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, go check out Cheap Seats Chatter on Spotify. We've done a lot of real fun podcasts on there. Even if you don't like sports talk, hey, we've even done some Jeopardy games from that just to have a little bit of fun, especially during the during the lockout. We always like to come up with really fun and interesting content, but it's Splash, it's Mac, it's me. We're all having a good time. I will say this one last thing, not a plug. I don't think that's enough that's enough of a package for the Astros to get Juan Soto. I don't think it's enough, but that I'll edit on that a little bit, but I understand the idea.
Yeah, thank you so much, Splash, for us. I second what Alex said. Make sure to check out Cheap Seats Chatter. We record basically every week, and it gets pretty animated, I will say. And yes, those Jeopardy games are certainly a lot of fun. Of course, Alex normally does those. We have fun with those. So, yeah, definitely check it out, and thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. So that's Alex and Mac. Thank you, guys. I will see you later today for our recording session, but appreciate you guys hopping on. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program. Are you guys ready for some hot ones, some hot takes?
I am. I would love to get in on some of those Jeopardy games, though. That sounds like a fun time.
Okay. First off, let's see the wonderful graphic that Jack made today.
Unfortunately, you can see the graphic, but you can't see us. So We're gonna have to stick with the old logo, I guess, for now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stick with the old logo for the time being. Everything will be
It's
okay.
on your hat, actually, so I guess it works.
Yes,
for
it
now.
is. Yes. Well, this is the old logo. I need the new logo. I have the new logo on that bottle.
You have a bottle? I have nothing on it. I can draw it maybe if I can find my marker.
Draw it. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Mac. That was great. Love the baseball talk. So let's get into some hot takes. There are some spicy ones. I will skip the Soto related takes because we spent the first 30 minutes talking about Mr. Juan Soto. Okay. Apparently, Marcelo Meyer is getting absolutely derped on by the Phillies right now. Rest in pieces. Okay. Let's go with some football hot takes. We have this from Jegs03. He says Breece Hall will have over 1,000 yards all-purpose.
I guess I'll go first. I'm biased, obviously.
Of course.
I don't know. 1,000.
Nothing wrong with
in the
bias.
area of 1,000. That's obviously a lot of yards. I just think it's going to be a committee. He'll be the lead, though. It's going to matter how the Jets are as a team, because if they're down every game, obviously he's not going to have 1,000 yards, or most likely. If they're what I think they'll be, which is in that 8-9 win range, I think he will.
Whoa! 8 to 9 wins for the Jets.
8 to 9 wins.
Oh man!
Wow.
I never got my hopes up with the Jets. I think 8-9 wins this year.
That's a 4 to 5 win jump. You guys play what? Oh my goodness!
Okay, listen. I can see the Jets maybe winning like 3 or 4 games.
Okay, that's a little disrespectful, but oh man,
maybe 5.
I just think they made enough moves.
I mean, they'll make a jump for sure. I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year, but like,
oh, that's tough.
I mean, Zach Wilson's either going to be the greatest quarterback ever or a bust.
Isn't that kind of like what it's hinging on, though?
Like, I think what they never did with Darnold, which I don't think that's the reason he was bad, but they never had a supporting cast around him. And then obviously now they have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Conklin.
How's the O-line?
Uzama,
Good
Carter.
offensive line.
A great offense. Their offensive line should be one of the best in the AFC.
All right.
Stays healthy.
All right.
And I think
Let's see it then. Oh man, there's somebody just wait and sees with the Jets. It feels like
it is a lot of wait and sees, but I have my hopes there. The roster is a million times better than it was even last year. Becton was basically out the whole year. I'm not going to count him. They had no tight ends. Pass to a tight end was rare, if ever happened. The receiving core wasn't healthy, which I think that's a Corey Davis thing. He won't be healthy this year either. But they have more help, and I think they can easily get, not easily, they can get the 8 or 9 wins if some things go their way, because they're going to win games they're not supposed to, they're going to lose games they're not supposed to. If injuries go their way, I think they can have that 8 wins, 9 wins.
I know a thing or two about the Jets and winning games they're not supposed to.
Okay. So I just had an idea for a segment for future episodes. Maybe we can do like each week we do a division, we like pick all their games. But the Jets, to me, this is why like win-loss percentage or improvement or regression over years is not always the most like fair way to judge a team. I think the Jets got unequivocally better this offseason. The problem is most teams got unequivocally better unless you're like Arizona, Dallas, Tennessee. So while I think the Jets are significantly better, while they have, to me, better running back, better receivers, better tight end, better offensive line, you get Carl Lawson back, so in theory your defensive front's going to be better. Linebackers still kind of whatever, better cornerback play, better safety play. I don't know if you're closing the gap as much as you think. And when I look at the schedule, I see a tough schedule. I see a world that the Jets could start 1-6. There are no easy games on the Jets schedule until November. Like, you'll play the Lions. Okay. I think the Lions are in that same boat of they got better everywhere besides quarterback, but even Jared Goff has a pulse. Or you play Jacksonville. Well, Jacksonville's in the same boat. They have Trevor Lawrence. That if Trevor Lawrence takes a jump, that 3-14 Jags team we saw last year probably isn't the same one you're facing late in the season this year. So I like the optimism, but I think the Jets are going to be one of those teams that maybe next year they have the win jump. This year they have the jump from a 4-13 that kind of punched above their weight. They beat the Titans, they beat the Bengals. Like, if you play those games 10 times, they're winning 2 of them. So those are kind of fluky. So they're really a 2-15 team masquerading as a 4-13 team. And I think this year you pick up a couple wins, but you're much more competitive. And say a Ravens game week 1, last year you get boat raced. Well, the Ravens weren't healthy, but last year you get boat raced. This year, I'm not 100% confident that the Ravens are going to cover 6-point spread, right? Or you play Pittsburgh early on, Cleveland early on, probably without Watson. You play Cincinnati again. So could they go 0-4 in that stretch? Yes. Are they going to be uncompetitive in that stretch? No. So I'm somewhere in between. I think they're going to perform better than a 4 or a 5-win team, but I don't think the win-loss record is going to necessarily equate to how good they are on the field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it also comes down to one player, and that player is Zach Wilson. If he takes that step, 9 wins necessarily isn't a stretch. If he doesn't take that step, 4 wins isn't a hot take. It's going to be how does he play. I also completely changed the hot take, but
Let's go, Austin.
Wow. Okay.
I love it. I love it. I'm all in on the Cam Akers train. Let's go.
I do want to throw it out there that I agree that the Breece Hall 1,000 yards, I think that's going to be pretty easy. If you have like a 65-35 split, like maybe a 60-30-10 split with Hall, then Carter, then like assorted other backs. Tevin Coleman is back in town. Guys like that. Zach Wilson's going to have a few carries here or there, or a few scrambles, whatnot. I want to hear your opinion on this, then we can get to Austin's hot take. I was listening to Brett Coleman and EJ Snyder. They do a great bootleg football podcast, so in depth. Brett mentioned that the reason you draft Breece Hall is so you can let Zach Wilson cook for the first 2 months. And if it doesn't work, you can give it to Breece Hall 30 times a game and say, hey, Zach, you're going to give me 2 plays. You're going to throw the ball 15 times today. You're going to give me 2 plays, 2 explosive plays out of structure. We're going to win this game because Breece Hall is going to go nuts because he's one of the best running back prospects in the last few years. Josh, do you think there's any credence to that you draft Hall as an insurance policy in case Zach Wilson doesn't pop this year?
First, I'm going to say this. Anyone who criticized the Breece Hall pick, I think it's the same people who criticized the Jets for not helping Sam Darnold out. And it's like, you can't go both ways. Eventually, you got to help out your quarterback. And I agree. Breece Hall is definitely not like a backup plan, but like people forget, he's not just a good runner. He's a very good receiver. And that is a safety blanket for Zach Wilson, who at times last year was scared to take that safety blanket. He sees Breece Hall, who can easily turn a 5-yard throw into 20, 30 yards. Maybe Zach Wilson's more willing to give that. So I think it's more of a way to tell your own quarterback, yeah, you can take the safety throw, and it's not always just going to be 5 yards and he gets tackled. It's going to sometimes be that breakout play.
For sure. Accidentally muted my mic. All right, let's get to Austin's take. He says Cam Akers will have 1,000 yards and 5+ touchdowns this season. Let's throw it over to Jack. Your opinion here.
I am on the Cam Akers bounce back train. I think last year, obviously, his numbers were a little low. He didn't score any touchdowns in the playoffs.
A little low?
Might have something to do with the fact that the dude tore his Achilles before the season. So honestly, that was like a superhuman recovery. So props to him and the Rams medical team. Reggie Scott, I believe, is the athletic guy. They're in charge of that. Insane what they do. And I think that now that he's back in full force, he's gonna explode. He's gonna say to the world, I missed out on most of last year. And now I want to let everybody know I can still be a threat in the NFL. And I think he was actually primed to be that guy for the Rams last year. Mm-hmm. The only reason they went with the committee approach is because he did end up getting hurt. But I think it was mostly going to be Cam Akers. And I'm actually really happy seeing him be talked about in this way because of the high draft choice. Mm-hmm. Unlike a certain wide receiver that won't be named. So I'm on the definitely 5+ TDs. I think 1,000 yards might be a little hard because they might still stick with. I would say we still will see a little bit of Darrell Henderson. We'll still see a little bit of who even is Jake Funk. I think is their third
Kyron
string
Williams,
right now.
I believe, is your third string.
Huh?
Kyron Williams out of Notre
Oh
Dame.
yeah, Kyron Williams is going to be good too. We might see both of those. So I think 1,000 yards might be a little bit difficult, but I think 5+ touchdowns should be no sweat.
This is a tough one. So I'm not a big fan of Kyron Williams. I thought he was overrated in the draft process. I watched him in Indianapolis. It was rough athletically. He was good at Notre Dame, but I don't know if he has the NFL juice. But then again, Sean McVay can make, applesauce out of potatoes. So who knows?
I love that analogy.
Yeah. My issue with Akers last year that, yes, I know he's coming off an Achilles, but he's still only 12 months removed from the Achilles injury. By the end of the season, he's 16, 17, 18 months removed. That's still that's within the window of he might not be full Cam Akers. And that to me is concerning. And last year, it wasn't that he was just not good. It wasn't that he was fumbling a lot or he was the least productive running back among those that had as many carries. He was last in yards per attempt among players with 72 carries. He was last or bottom 5 in yards after contact per attempt, breakaway yard percentage. He had one 15-yard run out of his 72 carries. That's not getting it done. I know he's coming off an Achilles, and I know that the Rams eventually won the Super Bowl, but it does bring me some concern that he was averaging 2.4 yards per carry. It was rough. It wasn't like, okay, 3.5 yards per carry. He's going to get that little bit of explosiveness back. It was a disaster from just about every perspective. That the peripherals were bad. The actual stats were bad. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's more of a committee than what Rams fans might want. And I think we're going to see some Darrell Henderson.
I think we're going to see a lot of Henderson for sure.
Yeah.
It's not going to be full Cam Akers. My counter to that is what happened with Cooper Kupp. He tore his ACL mid-season.
ACL is different.
Okay.
Yeah, ACL's different.
All right. I feel comfortable saying players that are a year and a half removed from an ACL, I think they can get back to most of their speed. Achilles it's not what it used to be, career ending, but it is career altering. It feels like every player has torn their ACL. You go down a roster, there's probably 20 dudes that have torn their ACL or both ACLs even. Deshaun Watson's torn both of his ACL. No one's really concerned about that. There's plenty of players that on every team that you don't even know they tore their ACL because it was in high school or it was in college or it was early in their NFL tenure. And those just kind of happen. And the Achilles there's a couple every year, and that's he's out of service for 2 years. I know Akers had the superhuman recovery, but I don't necessarily trust him to be the bell cow this year. I think it's going to be maybe a 40-30, 20-10, 40-35, 15.
I don't even know how many running backs we have.
And also, you were a top 10 passing team last year. What's going to stop you from Matthew Stafford throwing the ball 650 times and your top 10 in pass attempts and your bottom 15 in rushing?
When you sign a guy like Allen Robinson too, they're
exactly.
100%.
OBJ.
I think you want.
I hope to God they re-sign OBJ.
I think you want him to be fresh for the playoffs. So you're not playing for the regular season. You're playing for the playoffs. He's still coming off an Achilles injury, even though he's played. You don't want to rush him back. There's no need to have him be bell cow when you know you need him for the playoffs. Why would you do that?
For sure. So we're going to do some rapid fire takes. I made 4 takes this morning when I woke up, and they are going to be connected to my boom players, my splash breakout players. I'm going to run through them real quick. So number 1, Gabriel Davis will have 1,000 receiving yards and have more receiving touchdowns than Stephon Diggs.
I don't think he gets more touchdowns than Diggs.
I don't think he'll get 1,000 yards. I think the division, there's great cornerbacks in the division, and that's obviously it's going to be 60-year game. It's going to be tough to get, 1,000 yards. Okay.
Number 2, this is a hot one. Zaquandre White will lead the Dolphins in rushing yards.
I could see. You could say any name would lead the Dolphins in rushing yards, and I believe it because I have no clue who's going to get
Tua
injured.
will lead the Dolphins in rushing yards.
Someone's going to get injured in week 1. Someone's going to get injured in week 5. They just have all the running backs who get injured. So
Okay, look, here's my logic here. So Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Dolphins now, was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers last year. What we saw last year with the 49ers is Trey Sermon, 3rd-round pick. He's going to get the boatload of the carries and yada, yada. Then Elijah Mitchell comes in out of nowhere. He's the second one drafted, and he's the number 1 rusher, and also Deebo Samuel exists. So my thought here is Miami's going to have an totally open camp. I don't think they're looking at their roster. Chase Edmonds is very good. I think Chase Edmonds is probably the clear one right now, but also he brings a lot of value as a receiving threat. Sony Michel, he's a mixed bag. You have Salvin Ahmed, he's still a mixed bag, and you're gonna get is Tywan Jones on the Dolphins?
I thought Mostert's on the Dolphins.
Okay, it's Mostert. So I think Mostert's the same sort of back. I think Tywan Jones is still on the Bills. Mostert is gonna be, you give him 4 carries, he's gonna have either 4 yards or 40 yards, depending on how he's feeling that day, and he might get hurt. So I don't know. I don't think it's a horrendous bet. But there's also a chance he's not on the team in September. So who knows? All right. Number 3, Christian Barmore will record 70 pressures this season. He had 47 last year, 49 last year.
49 all the way up to 70.
That is 1 extra per game and change.
Okay. It's doable. It's doable. If it's like only 1 extra per game, I think it's doable. It sounded like it was like a lot more than it was, but
anyone on the Patriots is also like the Dolphins running back, so like he could have a monster game, and then Bill Belichick might not play in the next game.
Yes, I know what you're going for, but I do think Barmore is one of the guys that's kind of in the family. He's an Alabama guy. Yeah. Obviously, if there's any player that Bill would know inside and out, despite only playing 15, 17 games, it would be Barmore, because he was with Saban at Alabama and all the connections there. And I think Barmore is an exceptional talent. I think he's going to establish himself as a top 10 interior player, and he's going to be a guy that he's going to be in the Pro Bowl conversation. I don't think he makes the Pro Bowl. There's Cam Hayward, Jeffrey Simmons, DeForest Buckner, Chris Jones, Calais Campbell, all these guys, Christian Wilkins. But I think he's going to be in that conversation of, whoa, the Patriots got a good one. The Patriots have a star in the making on that defense. And my final hot take, Josh, you're going to like this. Elijah Moore, 1,000 receiving yards and 6 total touchdowns.
Yeah, to me, that's not a hot take.
Okay.
That's just a regular take. I think I think Corey Davis will be injured. He seems to get injured every year now. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's even known. I think Elijah Moore comes in as the one. He can play the slot. He can play outside. Him and Zach started to gain some chemistry last year, and Elijah, when healthy last year, looked very good. So it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Can he stay healthy? And if he can, I think he gets 1,000 yards.
Also, bad news for you. Rafi Devers just hit.
Yeah, I saw.
That is my guy, fantasy baseball legend Rafi Devers. Jack, how do you feel about the Elijah Moore take?
Remind me what it was again.
1,000 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Why not? It's tough to picture with Zach Wilson, but why not?
I think he had around
I hate that argument. Every team's going to have one guy that has like 800, 900, 1,000 yards. Even the Ravens, when they had no passing game to speak of, they still had a guy around 800 yards in a 16-game season.
Someone has to get the yards.
Yeah, someone has to get the yards.
Okay.
Zach Wilson, generic Jets court. Mike White threw for 400 bloody yards in a game against the AFC champions, which is still one of the stupidest things you could possibly say. What's the most? Okay, pause.
I said we're doing a tirade, folks.
Halloween night, if you said Mike White threw for 400 yards and beat the eventual AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, what's the most unbelievable thing about that?
That he beat the eventual AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals.
That's the most unbelievable part.
Do you know the last quarterback before Mike White to have 400 passing yards with the Jets?
Pennington?
It was Vinny Testaverde.
Ooh.
Only you would know that stat.
Well, no, okay, thank you. Also, I don't think the Bears have ever had a 400-yard passing game. They might have one.
Cutler could have had one.
Cutler was so bizarre, and the Ravens
Cutler is
finally
so
had
weird.
one with Lamar. I think Flacco may have had one too, but Lamar had. Ooh,
The
let me get
Dolphins,
on my
right?
soapbox. That Lamar Jackson game against the Colts.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, let's rock it and or roll in with the next segment that I don't know what it is. What do you guys want to do?
What is the next segment? Let me see really quickly.
Okay.
We have
You're so poorly prepared for this.
we have the Bears trading for N'Keal Harry.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
that is.
We got another first round receiver move. 2019 receiver class, the elite. You have Hollywood Brown getting traded, AJ Brown getting traded, Debo Samuel, will he, won't he? But the cream of the crop, N'Keal Harry for a conditional 7th round pick.
Yeah, he'll be off the roster by the season. So
That one's, I don't know. I know there were some in the Ravens fandom that wanted to take a flyer on him, trade like a conditional 7th. Do the Josh Oliver thing. Josh Oliver didn't work out at all in Jacksonville. He's fine as like a 4th tight end, 3rd tight end, 4th tight end, probably a 6th tight end now. But I don't know. With Harry, I did like him coming out, but the profile, I guess, didn't end up working. That he was a 6'1", 6'2", contested catch guy, and he didn't separate well. He didn't win contested catch as well at the NFL level. So, just scratch that one in the L column for Mr. Bill Belichick. So you live and you learn. 32nd pick in the draft was a whiff there. And now Bill is going and trading for Devontae Parker. So who knows?
I don't know if the worst part of it though is that N'Keal Harry pick, or the fact that he might be like the Bears' second receiver. Their receiving classes, their receiving coach is not good.
It's not great.
Yeah, they didn't. Okay, they did get Velus Jones, who's 25, but that one's bizarre. I didn't like Velus Jones, and then they drafted him in the 3rd round. I just kind of have to live with it and think, there's like 50 wide receivers in this class I love. The Steelers got 2 of them, which is maddening. But you get Velus Jones in the 3rd round. Darnell Mooney is a dog, though. Mad respect to him. But yeah, the Bears are. Would you take the Ravens receiver core or the Bears receiver core?
I'm
How about
fine
the
with
Ravens one,
So probably the
honestly.
Ravens.
Okay. Would you take the Falcons receiver core or
We're
the
playing
Bears?
this or that already. Here we go.
Yes.
Am I including Calvin Ridley or no?
You are not including Calvin Ridley.
I might just take a group of tight ends, and I guess
Kyle
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts counts. Like Kyle
Yeah,
Pitts
you
counts.
have Drake London. You brought in Brian Edwards. Zacchaeus.
Yes, I think I'd go to the Falcons,
Yeah, give me the Falcons.
Okay, would you
there.
take Packers or Bears?
Packers?
Packers.
Okay, it's Christian Watson, and a bunch of like dudes. Alan Lazard is still there.
Alan
MVS
Lazard's
in Kansas
good.
City.
I like the Sammy Watkins signing. I think he'll have a
That's
year.
week 1 legend Sammy.
Yeah.
Bro, I get
Former
mad at a
Ram,
lot of
Sammy
Ravens.
Watkins had like
Sammy
a
Watkins had the worst performance by any NFL player I have seen in the last 5 years against the Dolphins. 2 targets. 1 target wasn't considered a drop because he didn't put his hands up. It's a touchdown. Perfect. One of the best throws I've ever seen from Lamar Jackson. I've watched this man throw 1,000 passes, and his best just wow, what a nice goalpost. You idiot, catch the ball. Even if you drop the ball, I get it because you're Sammy Watkins, but oh my goodness. And
I think Marquise Brown versus Lions is pretty bad though.
Okay, honestly, the worst part about that isn't even the drops. It's that people just say, oh, Lamar stunk that game. What?
What?
No. They're like, oh, he was 16 of 31. That one gets
16
me
of
mad.
31 isn't the worst
Well,
I've ever.
that's
It's bad.
true,
Like,
but
don't get me wrong,
he was
but it's
very good in that game. It's just like 4 drops.
it's one of those things where it's like at what point is it the quarterback's fault versus is it the wide receiver's fault?
Yes, and this is why
So it's
when people use completion percentage, I think it's a dumb argument because you have passes that should be complete and you have passes that shouldn't be complete that are, and vice versa, and you have to look at average depth of target. Lamar Jackson was among the league leaders in average depth of target. Yeah, of course he's only going to complete 64.4% of his passes, which is still reasonably good. Anyways, before we move on, did you guys know that Josh Allen had fewer passing yards, fewer passing touchdowns, and fewer rushing touchdowns between 2020 and 2021?
Oh, would it surprise me, considering the way the Bills ran some of their offense?
strange. It was really weird because you think, oh, has this unfailable resume. Look, Josh Allen is the third best quarterback in the NFL. That's fine, but I was a little surprised that the stats weren't even gaudier than they were, and he threw 15 picks. All right. Anyways, we have some alternate helmets to react to. We have the ice cold Bengals, the Texans with throwback helmets, despite them being around shorter than I have been alive. Are you guys older than the Texans?
What year were the Texans a team?
September 2002.
Yes.
I'm barely older than Texans. Yeah.
Okay, great. We all can legally drink. Well, actually, I don't know that.
I can't. August for me.
Darn. Okay, we are all older than the Texans. Great job, everybody. I feel old now. The Saints have an interesting helmet. I believe we already reacted to it. Eagles, Kelly Green coming soon. Falcons.
They have the black. The Eagles have the black this year.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Bangers all around.
2 new teams are joining the alternate helmet party. I hope the Rams jump in on it one day, but probably not until next year. Let's look at the Bengals. Another shout out to my favorite website, sportslingos.net. They have this. I cannot share my screen apparently. Splash, you're gonna have to do it for me. But there you go. That's what the Bengals could look cool, like.
I was gonna say the not being able to share your screen is strange. I like it. I like the. I'm not gonna enjoy wearing it. Them wearing it week 5, but
this is like
a nice jersey. I like it.
It reminds.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but it reminds me. It makes me think of like zebras. I feel like it gives me that vibe of like just not like referees in that way, but like it's just like it's like an animal that's not a Bengal.
So it's a zebra.
Like, yeah, exactly what I said. It's just like, I don't know. I want to like it more. Where you're
coming from, but I guess I do associate those stripes with the Bengals.
Yeah.
It's just
like when I see that. I think it's one of those things where I'll just have to see it on the field.
That's fair.
I like how they did like the white Bengal picture with it. So it kind of made me think about like the 2 things together.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how the Bengals used to have the like full Bengal logo, like not just the head, but like
they still do. It's like an alternate. Oh no, like a full Bengal. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, the full Bengal is okay. The full Jaguar and the full Panther are cursed. Do you guys see this?
I've seen the full Panther, and I wish I didn't.
Full Jaguar. It is cursed. The Jackson, like, look, the helmet or the helmet, the head is cool. Cool, whatever. But this is like actually cursed. I'm gonna pull it up.
I can't wait to see it.
It is bizarre.
I think the Jaguars as a franchise are cursed though.
This is fact.
That's fair.
They're all
like AFC Championship game appearance in 2017, but otherwise,
like their color jerseys were disgusting.
What is this? Like,
oh my god, get it off my screen.
What is this? Like, okay,
get it off my screen.
It wouldn't be that bad, honestly. It wouldn't be that bad, but it just looks like you just extended the head. If it was like built as one, like the head looks almost too realistic. Does that doesn't make sense? The head looks like 2 different people made the design. It looks like one person did the rest of the Jaguar and one person did the Jaguar head. And it just looks odd. And let me get the Carolina Panthers logo. Because, oh boy. It's the same thing. Cursed. What is this?
Like what?
What is this? What is this? Oh my god.
That looks like fan art.
Yeah, okay, it's probably is fan art.
That looks like fan art.
These are cursed. Okay, anyways, that's the end of that segment. I never
No, it's
want
not because we have one more helmet. We have the
Okay.
Let me share my screen one more time.
The Jags and the Panthers are absolutely cursed.
Yeah, 100% cursed. We've got the Houston Texans. They're calling it Battle Red, is what it's called.
Okay, I'm a fan of these. I am a fan of these.
Yeah, I actually am a pretty big fan of that. I like them toying with red. I think that it's. I don't want to say it's like an underused color in the league, but it's like it's. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see them trying this out. So
Agree. I'm a big fan. And I like teams that do the experimentation with colors, and sometimes it's not going to work. When the Ravens
Action green, ladies and gentlemen.
Action green works. Shush. Mustard
The tennis ball color works. You said.
I have a broken tennis ball in my room now. I got it when I was in Wisconsin. So I'm a big fan of the Texans logo, or the Texans logo. It's a logo on a helmet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, logo on a helmet, our trademark. Josh, if you don't know, we tried doing it. The context behind that is we tried doing a tier list of NFL helmets, and they were all literally just logo on a helmet. So, not all of them, but most of them. So,
okay. Do we have a third for this or that? I don't think we do.
Well, we do, but
oh,
I'm not on the producer side. This
is a valid point. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for episode 79, we are going to do this or that for everyone's favorite quarterback under the height of 6 feet tall, Kyler Murray. One of Jack's favorite quarterbacks, of course, and Josh, I have no idea how you feel about Kyler.
I like him.
Okay.
He's a quarterback.
I like that. All right. Speaking of quarterback,
he's not the worst, but like there needs to be more. I think I know I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here for 1 second, but like my thoughts on Kyler are that he needs to step up. He needs to take that next step up. He's already shown a ton of flashes, i.e. the Hail Murray, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got to do more, because what we saw. Look at what he did in the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. That's not even a bias thing. Like, just look at what he did. Like, that's
34-11. And Austin coming in with the heat.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. Or I guess it was David Long in the playoffs. David Long was the one who had that pick 6. But point aside, let's go.
Let's get into this or that for Kyler Murray. If you're new to this segment, I'm going to give you the quarterback of the day. This is Kyler Murray. And the second quarterback, it's going to be a rotating group of players. These are going to be quarterbacks. And you're going to tell me if you want to take Kyler or you're going to take the other guy. So let's get it started. I had to do it first. I'm wearing the jersey, Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson.
Ooh.
I'm taking Lamar.
That's tough for me. I think it the amount of years and matter, but right now, Lamar.
Okay. I have them next to each other in my power rankings. I don't have any ill will either way.
They're very similar quarterbacks too, but I think Lamar has a little more experience, I'll say too, and he has like playoff experience as well. Mm-hmm. Playoff win experience too.
Yes. All right. Kyler Murray or Matt Ryan this season?
Ooh.
Kyler Murray.
It's tough to tell because I like what the Colts have going too with Matt Ryan now, and it feels like they have a solid core around him. Mm-hmm. I feel like I would take Matt Ryan.
Wow. Okay. Next 3 years, Kyler Murray or Trevor Lawrence?
Next 3 years, Trevor Lawrence.
Just him being in Jacksonville makes it tough for me.
Him in Jacksonville does make it really tough, but I feel like if they can potentially get a rebuild going within that time frame, who knows? And rebuilds don't have to take forever either. Like, look at what the Rams did. They were in 2016. They were the joke of the division, pretty much.
That's true. I think they're more confident. I think at 3 years, they'll have Kyler.
Okay.
I think it's team dependent too. We'll say.
Yeah.
Okay. Next 2 seasons, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray.
Joe Burrow. That one's not close. That one is not close.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotcha. All right. Next 5 seasons, Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray?
Oh boy.
Russ by a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably on the Russ train there. Russ is more proven too, though. So
yeah.
Okay. Mac Jones or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Mac Jones needs to do a little more for me.
Derek Carr or Kyler Murray?
Ooh, Derek Carr.
Yeah, I like Derek Carr.
I don't like much of the Raiders situation, but I think Derek Carr is a better player.
I think he's on an MVP type season.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
It's going to be dependent on what the Raiders do, but I think he'll have a great year.
Okay.
All right.
Next 3 seasons, Kyler Murray or Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson.
Wow.
The Jets fan says Zach Wilson. Tough call there because Zach Wilson has not played for as long, and I feel like he does need to take a step up.
Mhm.
If he takes that step up, give me Zach Wilson. But I don't know. Looking at it right now, I think I would take Kyler.
Okay. Kyler Murray or Jameis Winston this season?
I think Jameis done a great year. Not MVP level, as some people think, but
I think he's gonna have a good year, but he is coming off the ACL. Although then again, we did discuss the ACL. It's just like I don't want to say it's a
not
minor
nothing,
inconvenience, but it's like
For him,
it's not insurmountable as well.
I don't think it matters as much for him because like I'm not expecting him to run out of the pocket and start running down the field.
Mm-hmm.
True.
All right. Next 2 seasons, Rain Dakota Prescott or Kyler Murray?
Prescott. I love if I use this full name there.
I think like to me they're kind of the same.
Uh-huh.
I'd be fine. I'd be more than happy to have either.
Yeah, I think I'd be fine with either of them, honestly. But Dak, I like Dak. I don't know why.
Oh, apparently the Braves game is delayed. Okay, great. This season, Kirk Cousins or Kyler Murray?
Kirk.
Kyler.
Ooh, okay. Okay, we have some disagreement. Next 5 seasons, Trey Lance or Kyler Murray?
Oh, give me Trey Lance. Trey
just-
has shown flashes in the few
It's tough for me
plays,
to say Trey Lance because he hasn't even played like 5 NFL games.
but
He played against the Cardinals.
he did. And in the few games where he played, he was like throwing bombs. Like what was it? Trey area was what people were calling him.
Trey area.
I'm taking Kyler just because like I don't know it. I have to see Trey Lance like it was ups. And
Yeah, we do have to see a little bit more out of him, but I feel like he's gonna be that guy. And with Kyle Shanahan,
that's true. I would just take Kyler though.
Okay. Jalen Hurts or Kyler Murray?
I'm not a big Jalen Hurts guy, so I'm gonna go with Kyler.
Okay.
give me Kyler. I want to see a little more out of Jalen Hurts still.
Okay. Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray?
Baker.
What?
No, Kyler.
Whoa! Wait.
Yeah, I think Baker's gonna have a better year this year. I think
The thing with Baker is like people forget last year he was injured, and the year before he was a couple plays away from being the Chiefs. But I'm taking Kyler.
Oh, Baker was so good that last stretch. Like
he
after,
can be very good.
I'll
He can be
defend.
very good.
He was a top 10 quarterback. I had him in my top 10 after the Chiefs game this year. Week 1, before we knew he was injured, week 1, I thought he was a top 10 quarterback. Then it fell off a cliff, but who
He's
knows?
gonna be out
All
for
right.
revenge.
This is true. Next 3 seasons, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray.
Stafford.
Okay. Jack is clowning. Next 5 seasons, Justin Fields or Kyler Murray.
I mean, we talked about earlier. The Bears have no receiving core, so like it's not like on Justin. I don't blame him, but
I
I'd rather have Kyler.
was
I think
gonna
Bears-
look for something I had
Stafford.
related to Matthew Stafford, and I realized the only thing I have related to him is this teeny mate. So there
Yeah.
you go, Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
I heard Justin Fields.
Mhm.
Give me
Next 5
Kyler.
years, Fields or Kyler. Okay.
Give me Kyler.
Okay. This one, next 5 seasons, Aaron Rodgers or Kyler Murray. Not right now.
Ooh.
Not right now. Not right now. Not right now. But in 3 years, Aaron Rodgers will be 41 years old.
Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's gonna be playing for that long.
I think he might retire after this year.
Okay.
So I
If
think
you were
I have
asking
Kyler.
right now, it would be Rodgers all day, obviously.
Yeah.
But if like in a few years, I don't really know how much Aaron Rodgers has left.
I would take Kyler just because you don't know the spec. Like Rodgers could retire in a year, and it wouldn't be surprising. He'd play 5 years and be amazing.
Mhm.
But I would just go with Kyler. Just no, there's more certainty there.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of the last quarterback, next 3 seasons, Tom Brady or Kyler Murray.
I think it's Brady's last year, but
This is Brady's. I feel like it's his farewell tour.
yeah,
He's not gonna say it. Like if you ask him, he'll tell you he'll play until like he's 50. But
I want to see that. Like, look,
I
I
do.
hate Brady. I hate the Patriots. I get it. But that's special. That is absolutely special if he plays until like 2027.
do you think he stays on the Bucks that entire time?
I don't think I don't think he's going anywhere else. I know the Miami thing with the ownership, and if he got the right coach, if it was like Sean Payton and he got a stake in ownership, like maybe, like.
It's also at a certain point though. If you're a team, like you always welcome Tom Brady, but if you have a situation where you have a young quarterback, it's like, is it worth 2 years of Brady to not see what we have for the next 10 years with whoever the quarterback is?
Yeah, and I think you can have this conversation with Rodgers and Jordan Love that the Packers, I'm sure, love having an MVP caliber quarterback, but they're like, we really want to see more from Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Like they.
So I don't know if the market for Brady would be as big as it was when he left 3 years ago, especially now where he's kind of hinted.
It's going to get to a point where it's literally just name value. Like, oh, it's Tom Brady. And, like, he'll get butts and seats, but, like, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but it's like, what his on-field product, too, is definitely going to be different than it was, like, 5 years ago. So
Sure. Remember all the days that Tom Brady was done, right? When it was washed, 2019.
Tom Brady was retired for, I think, 80 days.
This is a good point.
If that. It was a quick retirement.
I'm pretty sure it was 80 days before he announced randomly that he was just going to come back. I guess he just, I don't know. I did say too on the show, I wasn't going to believe it until week 1 came around and he wasn't there. I feel the same way about Gronk, even though Gronk like kind of reiterated.
Okay, Gronk, I think it's the playoffs. If he's not around for week 1 or the wild card round, he's done. But I don't see it out of the realm of possibility that like week 8 comes around and
he said too that he wouldn't do it. Like even if Tom Brady called him, he said he was gonna stay retired. But like,
no,
I agree. It's the playoffs, and it's like we need a tight end.
Hey, Eric Weddle did it. So
yeah.
Eric Weddle from couch to Super Bowl champion in 5 weeks.
Yes. Yeah,
and we know Gronk's gonna stay in shape too, so like that's not a worry. We'll know he's gonna know how to catch football in less than a year. Like I'm not too worried about that.
What?
So it's like he'll be if he come back for 4 games, and I'd be like, okay, he'll be fine. And he has that chemistry, that special chemistry.
For sure. All right, that'll wrap us up for this or that. Kyler Murray edition. That was fun. Let's stay on the West Coast. Head to Jack's team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last night, Clayton Kershaw did something that has never been done in the expansion era. I can't say that's not very often I say that. There's some weird stats I pull out yesterday. I want to talk about this in a little bit, but Mike Yastrzemski had a walk-off home run for the Giants. That was their first walk-off grand slam since 1973. Not even Barry Bonds.
I read that stat and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time.
So Clayton Kershaw is the first player in the expansion era to have 2 games in one season that he was perfect through 7. He was perfect through 7. His opening start against the Twins, opening start of the season against the Twins. Dave Roberts took him out. Jack and I were mad about that. This time, he's perfect through 7. Luis Rengifo doubles and screwed the perfect game. So I have 2 questions. First off, will there be another perfect game, or is that era gone? Is the door shut with King Felix back in 2012?
No, I think especially with today's game where it's more home run or strikeout dependent than it's ever been, you're going to have a day where some pitcher's going to be on and the team just can't hit. But it takes every perfect game has those special plays where it's not believable that someone could catch that or get to that ground ball. There's only been, I think, 26 of them. There's only been like around that for a reason. It's tough to do. But I do think one will happen in the next like 5-10 years. Another one will happen.
Jack, will there be another perfect game?
I think there will be, because first of all, we're like entering an era where like Kershaw I know you said it was the first time ever, but like if Kershaw can do it, it feels like anyone can do it. Where like you can pitch you can like flirt with a perfect game twice in a season. Mm-hmm. I feel like if that starts happening more and more frequently, someone eventually is going to get it.
Yeah, the Yankees did it in back-to-back nights earlier this year.
Do we have a solo no-hitter this year?
That's a good question. I actually need to see.
You had the combined no-hitter Houston versus New York. Was it? Why am I blinking?
Reed Detmers. Of
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, he had one with the
He had
Angels.
2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
25 contact outs to get that. Anyways, number 2. Should Clayton Kershaw start the All-Star game?
Yes.
Sandy Alcantara should be starting the All-Star game. It's not
No,
a
Kershaw has to do it.
Clayton Kershaw had a great-
For the value of like it's in LA and based on
fair.
what he just did.
But I also thought Mookie Betts would be in the home run derby because it's in LA, and instead they
Corey
got
Seager
Corey
is,
Seager. which
Corey's
I
a
don't know.
former Dodger and world champion. Corey
Yeah, but I don't know how they
Seager.
got Corey Seager. I mean, I can name 5-10 guys I'd rather see. Stan said he wanted to do it. I don't know why he's not in it.
Okay, I'm going to defend the Seager pick because actually we should do the home run derby predictions on this show. But
Oh, we should, yeah.
Corey Seager has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball. It feels like every other night I'm getting the home run notification, 2 home run notifications. So I think it's defensible. Heck, he's the 2 seed, I believe, 2 or the 3 seed in the whole tournament. Like, he has 21 home runs. He's no slouch. I believe he's the 3. So it's if I recall, it's Schwarber versus Pujols, the 1-8. The
Yeah,
2-7 is Alonso Acuna, which is
great. It's the best home run derby we've ever had.
yes, that's a lot of fun. The 3-6 is it Seager and it's Seager and J-Rod.
Yeah,
Oh man. And then the 4-5 is
Jose.
Soto and J-Ram.
Yeah. See, I think would you rather see like hit another home run tonight? Like Matt Carpenter could have been in the home run derby. I feel like he has 13 home runs, just hit another 3-run home run tonight. Stanton would have been. I mean, I don't think there's a better player I'd rather see in the home run derby than Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh man.
He's built for the home run derby. Hits line drives that are gonna go.
Joey Gallo might be built for the home run derby.
No, Joey Gallo's built for the bench not in Yankee. He's built for the seats in Yankee Stadium.
Oof. Okay.
Not even the bench at this point. I don't know.
Wow.
I can go on and on about why
I've always
he's
been a
playing
big
him over
guy.
Carpenter.
Nosebleeds.
I'll save us that for another day.
Okay.
The upper
So-
deck in foul territory where you'll never catch a ball.
The worst. Okay. Josh, who wins the home run derby?
I'm gonna go with. I think Soto wins it.
Wow. That would be awesome for my fantasy team. Last year, remember, he fixed his swing. He started launching the ball. Then he went nuts the second half of the year. I think he had an OPS.
510. He had a 510 foot home run in the home run derby last year.
That is very true as well. I think last year after the home run derby, he had an on-base percentage above 500
Yeah.
and like an OPS like above 1200. So I'm excited. I'm also excited for Acuna to compete, get the swing back, get the power back, because he hasn't had the power this season. He's had everything else. He's stolen 20 bases already. He's been, he's still been a good hitter. It is a tough matchup, but
You want a back-to-back champ.
yeah. But I'm gonna pick an upset. I'm gonna take Julio Rodriguez to beat Pete Alonso in the second round, and then Julio is going to beat one of the former nationals, or either the current national or the former national, in the final, Schwarber or Soto. So give me Julio, the young gun, J-Rod. Wrap it up. Jack, who you got?
I'm gonna take the ex-Dodger Corey Seager. He's gonna get a boost on like I feel like Dodger fans hopefully will be classy to him and give him the cheers. So I know it's not gonna be only Dodger fans because it's the All-Star game, but I would like to think that the general area is going to be friendly to him and hopefully he puts on a show. So
All right.
the crowd is there. Before we move on, by the way, from the MLB talk, I just want to say thank you, Dave Roberts, for letting Kershaw try it this time.
See,
Because
he only
last
has
time you
71
pulled him-
pitches.
Yes, it's a 71 pitches, and it's like middle of the season, and it's
Yeah,
right
it's
before the
very-
All-Star game too. So even if you're concerned, like, oh, he's throwing a lot of pitches, well, guess what? He's going to be off the next week. You just tell, hey, Brian Snitker, leave
Don't.
Kershaw out of the All-Star game, please. Just he pitched 10 million innings Friday night. We're good. And I wonder if managers do that or say, hey,
I think
only
it's the
pitch my
players
guy
that
an
do
inning.
that. Like
Huh?
Garrett Cole's pitching tomorrow night,
I think
and like he's an all-star. Will he pitch an all-star game? Most likely, no.
No, he's ineligible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he might be ineligible.
Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel about the additions of Austin Riley, Santiago Espinal and the Tyler Anderson to the All-Star game.
I'm like Tyler Anderson.
JD Martinez too is an addition.
Ooh, with Jordan coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And I know Braves fans are like, Austin Riley should have been an All-Star the entire time. No, he's been hot recently. He has not been better than Arenado the entire season. He has not been better than Machado the entire season. He might have better stats now after he's gone ding-dong 9 times in 16 days. That's fine. But people need to realize when the All-Star game is voted on and the stats right now are different. This is why Acuna is in the All-Star game. If the voting was done all clumped together at the start of July, Acuna is not in the All-Star game. Well, he might be, but he's not getting a coach's selection if he's not the number one vote getter. It just happens that he got tons of votes in June when he was still very, very good. And then the last part of June, he started slumping at the plate at least. So I know
One
Mets
thing I want to see change in the All-Star game is starting pitchers and closers. And in today's game, with how important those middle inning guys are, some of them should be in the All-Star game. Like Michael King has had an amazing year, but he's just not a closer or a starting pitcher.
That's fair.
In today's game, middle relievers are more important than they've ever been, and those guys should get some recognition for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And you had a couple guys, Joe Mantiply in Arizona. Yeah. Let's see, David Bednar kind of acts as his own middle reliever with all the 6-out saves, 8-out saves. I mean, hey, Clay Holmes was supposed
to be a 7-8 guy, and then
yeah, and then he becomes a closer when Chapman goes down. I mean, I do think there's some positional designations I think are weird, both pitchers and fielders, that does say Espinal necessarily deserve to be an All-Star over another middle infielder, another infielder in general, maybe not. So I don't know. Although Josh, you were there for when I said it would be like replacing Joe Burrow with Trayvon Diggs. That one was an iconic moment. All right, let's wrap it up. At least the main part. We have some hockey talk. Jack, fill us in on NHL free agency. I know my guy Johnny Hockey is with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes, that's probably like the biggest mind grenade is that he went to the Blue Jackets. It was a 7-year deal. They were actually like out on him too until the end. It was
money too.
I don't want to say it was like a Deshaun Watson thing. Like, you know how Watson was going to go Browns and then they were told they were out, but then he was going to go to Atlanta and then suddenly he does a 180 and goes to Cleveland. I think it was just like, free agency is always weird. You always get like reporters like aren't 100% sure of who goes where until like somebody tells them for certain. So it's like, it was just, I forget where his rumored destination was, but like Columbus is going to be scary next season. They've got a lot of pieces. I feel like Columbus might be able to make a run. Let me find my list really quick. I posted a list the other day of free agency so far. Here's the
Darcy Kemper move.
Yes, this is what I was going to say. A rather significant one. The starter for the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, Darcy Kemper, is going on a 5-year deal to the Washington Capitals.
That's right. I know the Red Wings
Claude Giroux
signings.
Claude Giroux, he was moved from his longtime home in Philadelphia last season. He went to the Florida Panthers. I think that was a little bit of a ring-chasing move, but the Panthers got knocked out in the first round. So he goes to the Ottawa Senators. The Senators actually can be scary, too. They have a lot of pieces as well.
Yeah, I saw the Senators and the Red Wings had like plus 4,500 odds. And it's like, these teams stink, or at least did stink like 2 years ago. Now they're not like contenders, but it's kind of like the pack of, I don't know, like the Commanders in the NFL. I think they're around 4,500 that they're probably not going to win anything, but could be a fun bet if you like goofy things. So
okay, here's a fun one. Speaking of goofy, this is a fun one. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they announced this all at the same time. Mikhail Sergachev, Anthony Cirelli, and Eric Cernak. 8-year deals each. What is cap space? What is cap space?
Where did the New Orleans Saints?
Yes, it's a like that's like basically
all you need is Nikita Kucherov to go on the long-term injured reserve again, and
true.
Work the salary cap mumbo jumbo. Also, is there anyone better at their job than Mickey Loomis? Just doing the salary cap.
Whoever does the salary cap for the Rams, pretty good at their job too.
Okay,
What's
Packers
the-
are up there as well. The Packers are finagling the heck out of that as well. So there are some salary cap wizards in the NFL. And it's always
there are.
exciting.
And
To see.
I guess there is in the NHL as well because that's
Yeah.
huge. Sergachev, Cirelli, Cernak, they were all really good for the Lightning. I think it's Chernak, however it's pronounced. He was with the Kings, I should know, but
Wow.
he didn't. I think he was more in like the minor leagues. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's big for Tampa. Kind of wild that they each get 8-year deals on the same time.
It's a
but,
lot,
like-
man. It's going to be 2030 when those contracts are up.
Yeah, you
It's-
gotta
whoa, whoa,
hope.
whoa, whoa. Okay, you remember when the Wild signed? Was it Suter and?
It
forget
yeah,
who
it
the
was
other player
Suter and who was it that they cut?
Are their
they were like
contracts up
cap
yet?
cuts. They were cap cuts.
Okay.
I know Suter was a cap cut.
Okay, gotcha.
I forget who the other guy was. I want to say it was Parise, not Parise.
I think it
was
was
it?
Parisi. I think it was Parisi. I
I'm
believe
Googling
it
right now.
was Parisi. It was Parisi and Suter. Could be wrong, of course, but I believe it was Parisi and Suter. All right. So while you
I'm
were
pretty
looking
sure it
that
was-
up, Devil's Legend, Zach Parisi. Parisi.
Yeah. I am just
While
checking
you
it
are
out really
figuring that
quickly.
out, I would
Yeah,
like to
Zach
plug
Parisi.
something. I made a video today. It was called the NFL's newest $200 million man. The subject is Lamar Jackson. After you finish watching this video, if you are not tired of hearing my wonderful voice, go ahead, tune in. It's 15 minutes of me, Ravens fan, the resident Ravens fan, talking about Mr. Lamb Lamb with the Blam Blam, and he's going to get a lot of glam, hopefully soon. And if he doesn't actually win a Super Bowl, he can buy a nice ring with his future $200 million contract. So,
Speaking of rings,
Shameless
by the way,
plug.
apparently, I just found out that apparently NBA Summer League champion rings are a thing this year.
See, I like it. For a
I
lot
do
of
too.
players, it's like this is the highest they'll get, and they should be.
It's the
rewarded
highest
for
they've been
winning
so far.
everything.
None of them.
Yeah.
Well, none of them. Most of them have. Well, isn't even most of them? A decent chunk of them haven't played in the NBA before.
Yeah, most of them, and
It's a nice little
95% of them
something.
won't make
So
the
it's
NBA, so-
it's weird, but it's like I don't think it's bad weird. Like it's a nice little something that the players could have.
to
Like
me, there's no reason to hate. Like if you're hating on it, why are you hating on it? Like,
I'm not gonna
players-
hate on a bunch of
Yeah.
first and second year players either.
It's also like most of these guys aren't gonna play in the league. This is the highest they'll get. Reward them for being the best at that level.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And speaking of rewarding them,
Can I go on a
things-
couple more? Can I touch on a couple more hockey
Oh,
guys really quickly?
Yes, of course.
Okay. First of all, Jack Campbell leaves Toronto, 5-year deal with Edmonton, so he's probably replacing Mike Smith. I don't know what's gonna happen with Mike Smith. A trade
You have to make that
saw
Mike Smith video, by the way.
Yeah, we do. A trade saw Brent Burns, who has spent I'm pretty sure most of his career on the Sharks. He's now a member of the Carolina Hurricanes. Looks like that. I don't know whether these guys are prospects or not, but there were 3 players that got moved in that trade.
Shout out
Is
to
there any
LeBron
other-
James. He dropped 42 and 16 in the Drew League today. Josh, I know you were watching that.
Yeah, it was him and DeMar DeRozan on the same team. I felt bad for the other team. You go in thinking you have a fun day, then you go
No,
in. and you
LeBron
see-
James shows up in the Drew League.
There's the meme of guy guarding LeBron in his face. He's like, "What am I doing?"
Didn't somebody like
Imagine like blocking LeBron. Yo, that
God.
what? Okay, what athlete would you want like one little bit of showing them up? Maybe not showing them up, but like one win. You might lose 21-1, but you got that 1 point. What is the one athlete in human history you want to have? Hey, at one point when he was at the peak of his powers, I did this.
I think LeBron might be it for me.
Okay, what would you want to do? Like block his shot, strip
Just like
the ball,
score on him. If I could score on him,
score on LeBron.
like break his ankles and then score, I think that would be very cool.
Breaking wrinkles. Okay, Josh.
If I
is going
could
into fantasy land.
score a goal on Andre Vasilevsky,
that, okay,
I would take it.
I think maybe 1 in 1,000 shots Josh could probably score on LeBron if LeBron's not trying. Jack,
Over under on how many shots I would take on Vasilevsky and score.
infinite.
1,000.
All right,
Sorry, Jack.
it's fine.
That's like the Jake DeGrom thing. Everyone's like, yeah, like I could hit a pitch. If he threw 100 pitches, I'd hit one. It's like, no, you wouldn't, because he would just
No, you
throw it.
wouldn't.
He
You
casually
would
throw
not.
it down the middle of the
Even if you
plate.
told
The
him where to
thing
throw
about
it,
like, because I chose hockey too. The thing about hockey is like, you could get lucky. Like you could think he saved one, and then it could just trickle through, and it would barely cross the line, but it still counts. So it's like, you could get lucky with that.
Yeah, the Grom one's my favorite one. That's like you just throw it down the middle, and once you even get close to figuring out how to hit it, he would just go like 1 inch higher and just keep and go 1 inch lower, and he just keep doing that.
Okay,
Never
so
again.
is it hitting a fastball, or is it making contact with a fastball, or getting a hit?
I would
Even
go
making
for making
I don't
contact.
think you're ever, like, give me 1,000 pitches, I'm not making contact with the ball.
I would go for making contact. I think getting it like
Look,
Oh,
could you
boy.
foul off a pitch though?
I think
it's
that's
not,
like a,
it's not the most honorable thing ever, but it's like, hey,
It'd be
I
awesome.
hit
Yeah,
a
I'd
pitch.
brag
I
about
didn't get a hit with it, but
My
I like
hands
made
would
contact
sting
with
for
the
the
ball.
rest of the year though, and if I came even close.
oh my god.
That would be actually terrifying because the man throws like 102. So like, look, Jacob DeGrom is one of the best pitchers ever. If a pitch slips and it's coming anywhere near me, my soul is exiting my body. I'm just throwing that out there.
I am like
Even if he's
diving.
throwing his
I'm like,
90
I'm literally
mile-per-hour
just like,
slider.
The thing is, like, I don't think I'd be able to react till after it hits me. I wouldn't even see it coming. It would just hit me and be like, oh, okay.
baseball
You wake up
players,
at
you
the
guys
hospital.
have guts.
The pitch is coming for me.
You get PTSD of the pitch
Oh,
coming
my
at your
goodness.
face.
The Orioles
Yeah.
won again today.
They're one player away. People were arguing with that bad too, and it's like they wouldn't be contender with Soto. It's like, yeah, they would. They're
Yeah,
playoff
they're
contender
not a
now.
bad team right now,
yeah.
and it's not even like a They've beaten some halfway decent teams in this little run. It's not like they're beating, like, I know the easy example is the Braves. Oh, they won 14 games against sub 500 teams. The Orioles have beaten, like, they beat the Rays a couple times. They beat the Blue Jays. The Rangers are no slouches.
They beat the Red Sox.
They did beat the Red Sox.
They're up there. They have like one of the best records for teams above 500. They're a very good team.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting. It's good for baseball that the Orioles are
It
good.
is. Yeah.
They have not
Okay.
won a World Series in 40 years. It'll be 40 years next season. All right, it is time for everyone's favorite segment of the Sports Desk. It's called We Put Things on a Tier Chart.
Oh, I
So-
had one.
Oh,
I didn't know that you had one found. I already made one, but
yeah, this is the same one I posted on TikTok.
Okay.
We have tier this. I forgot we still have a. Oh my goodness, we have
we have
way
a
too
top
many-
10 plan too. We might
Yeah,
have to do the top 10
okay.
of those on there.
Let's try to be quick with this. We are ranking the throwback NFL logos. I'm not going to say the R word, but where would you guys put the racisms here?
First of all, before we touch that one, take the Jaguars logo and put it in F tier or somewhere off the screen.
Okay, can we do the same with the Panthers?
Yes.
Yeah.
And can we do the same with the Ravens?
I can't see theirs.
Yeah, I can. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Take that one off.
Okay. All right. Racisms.
I don't know. I guess I have to go
B
back.
tier.
I don't want to be called a racist.
I would go B tier. I like it. And it's just an R, so it's not that.
Yeah, it's like if that was their logo. Like,
If, it was,
for a
if they were
longer
called like
period
the
of time.
Red Tails or something, as opposed to the Redskin Potatoes, like heck, if they were called the Redskin Potatoes, I don't know. Like yes, that's clearly and obviously racist, but I think it's a well-designed logo.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Vikings.
F.
Yeah.
What in the world is that?
That honestly might just be like the limitations of design in the era. Raiders.
Honestly, probably, yeah.
I'll give it a
it's-
C.
Wow.
It's like average.
It's a decent logo. It could be. I think it got better. I think there's like a different vintage logo that they had that I thought
Mhm.
should actually be their logo today. But that one's okay. I think C tier's
Also, I
fair.
need the Cubs to win today. Stop sucking. Okay, Denver.
S tier. I think it's a great logo.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Yeah.
Chiefs.
D tier.
Yeah, I would agree.
Ooh, I kind of like this one.
I don't hate it as much
it's
as like the F
nostalgic
tier
for
ones,
me.
but like
It's nostalgic for me.
okay, that's fair. If it
I'm
has
gonna move it up to
nostalgia
C
for
tier.
sure.
Eagles.
Minimum B tier. It's detail, but like the Kelly green is what puts it pretty high up for me.
Cardinals.
I like the logo, but it's not like it's like the same logo it currently is.
And it's not the exact same, but
Yeah,
it's
but it's like I think it's like a B.
yeah, probably.
Seahawks.
See, this one always looked like it was really sad. Like I always thought that the Seahawk was sad in this
Looks like it's
picture.
crying.
Well, I would be sad too if you went 40 years without doing jack squat.
Exactly. Their
I'd
current
give it a
logo is
C.
awesome. I like their current logo, but
Mhm.
I think this one's a C tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle, we'll say.
All right.
The pun.
Falcons is S tier. All right. Browns.
Okay, we're really quick. I know this is a tangent. I know a lot of people love the Falcons throwback logo. I don't hate it, but it's just
All right. All right. Browns. What are we thinking? Jack can't add himself back in. Yay!
I'd give it a C or a D. It's just like a
I don't know what to say. I don't know why I don't love it. Like I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like it's not
Where would we put the Browns? C tier.
It's like a C or D for me. It's just like a
D
person
tier.
standing there.
Oh, okay, come on. Do you not feel like if you're playing Madden or something, like I feel like I have infinite swagger when I go into a game and that's my logo. I hate the Browns, but when that's my logo, I feel like I'm gonna drop 75 points on your head immediately. Just like the swagger, like the shoes, the belt, the way he's like grinning at you, like I know I'm going to wall up your football team
and then
today.
you look at the helmets and there's no logo on the helmets.
This is a good... Oh, okay. Cowboys. Colts.
Colts.
That's an A for me. I like it.
It took me forever to figure out what was going on with the helmet there. I agree it's an A tier, but it just took me a long time.
Yeah, I don't love the helmet part, but like the Colt part is really cool.
Yeah, the Colt part's cool.
All right, Cowboys.
Is it really a good Dallas Cowboys logo if it's not the
I
star?
was gonna say like a D.
I agree. Bungles.
That looks like a cartoon drawing.
It's like
Which I guess, to be fair, a lot of these are, but like,
Yes.
to me, it's like an F or a D.
I don't think it's as bad as these
C.
cancers.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Bucks is S tier.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
creamsicle.
Jets.
I like it. It's an A for me.
I think it gets high marks for me just because I wouldn't say A, I would say like B or C, just because it's actually a jet and it's not just like a circle of a football. Like
That's fair. All right, Packers.
again, is it really a good Packers logo if it's not the G?
I agree. So I'm gonna put it in D tier.
Yeah. Again, not as bad as what's in F tier, but
Speaking of,
speaking of, yes,
What is
that's
this?
just what's going on
Yeah.
there.
Man,
S
S
tier.
tier. S tier.
Oilers is S tier.
Well, this is S tier.
Texans.
It's like a C or D.
I remember the first time I saw this logo and I was like, what am I looking at? Like it
Mhm.
just it's bizarre to me. I don't
I like the
See,
Lions.
the lines I like the double stripe behind it. I think that's cool.
I'm not the biggest fan of that.
The illustration is a little I guess like you said with the Vikings limited
tier,
by its time.
Is that
but-
okay?
Yeah, B
yeah,
tier.
that's fine.
Okay. Bills.
A or S.
A tier.
Yeah.
Pat Patriot.
S tier.
S. I hate to say it, but S.
Rams.
C tier. I never liked this logo.
I told you guys I saw the Angelo State logo the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AKA the current Rams logo, apparently.
All right, New York Football Giants.
C tier.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
That's a D for me. It's just a
Wow.
bear on football.
I think it's a B tier, honestly.
Oh, okay. We can split the difference. I like it. I like it.
I don't
think
hate it.
It
I
has
think B tier is
character.
I think if it's just like a bear, it would have been cooler than a bear on a football. It looks like the bear sleeping.
I like their
Okay.
bear head. They have a bear head logo, I think,
Mhm.
somewhere. So,
Okay.
Dolphins is S tier.
Yeah.
Okay. Steelers.
C tier.
It's like a D for me. I don't know if Splash likes it or doesn't. But...
It's kind of whatever. Chargers.
Yeah, whatever. Isn't this their current one? I know they still use a version of this.
What's on the lightning bolt? Is it like?
I think it's better than the lightning bolt, though. So
no, but like, there's something like there's an animal there. Is it like a dragon?
it's like a horse.
Oh, that's a D.
The Chargers
And
are not great at logos, to be fair. So.
49ers.
C tier. I think there's a little bit of
don't know what that
nostalgia
is.
factor there. But...
Yeah, this is one that if I didn't happen to know the 32 NFL teams, I wouldn't be able to guess what this.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Like,
have
I can
any
kinda
idea what that
guess.
is at all.
Like you can Bronco or horse, maybe
We
Buccaneer.
went
I don't know
through
why.
everything.
I
I couldn't have told you that was a 49ers.
I'm gonna keep going on this tangent.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about the Falcons logo.
I like it. I don't know if it's S tier. I like it though.
I don't hate it.
Hey, Jason Dominguez hit a home run.
Yeah, big game tonight.
Future.
It feels like you could
International.
take that Falcons logo and put an A and an L on the other sides of it, and it would look good. Like
Ooh.
it looks like a T in a way, more than an
Ooh.
F.
Okay,
That's a
Jack,
good
I
idea.
know you've seen my famous Atlanta Hammers logo. Josh, have you seen my famous Atlanta Hammers logo?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know if I have it anymore. You might have to scroll a while in the group chat. Yeah, I don't think I have it anymore. Okay, I'll find it at some point. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I was very proud of this when I came up this idea, and it was ranking the top 10 rivalries in sports. I worked really hard on the graphics for this. I'm very proud of what I put together. I think I have an excellent group of 10. I think I have excellent logic for my 10. I think my computer is lagging now, so my apologies. So I'm prepared. Allow StreamYard to connect to my Google account.
You're
I am
more prepared than I think Josh and I are. So
I have a list on my phone. I have, some,
I have a list.
I have
on
a
my
good
phone,
one.
but it's
I have a good one on the top.
I have a couple that are like, I don't know. I think some of them are more like personally based on what I like watching. There are some historic ones in there, but there are.
I have
some
ones
that-
I like, and then some good ones, and then I have one that no one's gonna expect.
I have one that I don't think either of you are going to expect.
I have two that you guys might.
Mine's not. Mine's more like a. I don't even want to give it away.
Oh, he used Comic Sans. That's how you know this is gonna be good.
All right. Top 10 sports rivalries. Ryan Splashpots. Let's get into it. If you disagree, who cares? Your list sucks. Number 10, Cubs, Cardinals. We are rocking the classic National League Central battle with the Cubs, the lovable losers, and the Devil Magic, known as the St. Louis Cardinals. They have played plenty of classic games. You have the 1998 home run race with Sammy Sosa on one side, Mark McGwire on the other side. You have two historic franchises. They've been around longer than I've been alive. Not saying a whole lot there. You have tons of wins on both sides, except the Cubs didn't win a World Series for 108 years, while the Cardinals just devil magic their way to several. Anyways, a top-tier matchup. It's always on Sunday Night Baseball, which sucks because I don't love watching games at Wrigley Field because I don't like how the wind works. But anyways, number 9, staying in the same general vicinity here.
That's your
Packers,
9.
Bears. Yes, number 9. Why? Because the Bears stink now, and they have not been good for a long time. The Packers have owned this rivalry for the last 30 years since they got Brett Favre. They have murdered the Bears. There was that one NFC title game they played, the Jay Cutler game, the Caleb Haney game. Aaron Rodgers got mega bailed out in that game. The Packers are ascending in this hierarchy of NFL teams. The Bears are descending. The Bears have not had a good quarterback in like 70 years. That's a problem. Number 8, this is an underrated rivalry because why? This game always matters to Falcons and Saints fans. The Bears-Packers game, there are some pointless ones. There is never a pointless Falcons-Saints game. I don't care if the Saints are 16-0 and the Falcons are 0-16. That game 17, that's going to matter. That's going to matter a lot to Falcons fans. That's going to matter a lot to Saints fans. Yes, I'm from the South. I get it. But this is a rivalry that there is actual legitimate hate. People in Atlanta hate people in New Orleans. People in New Orleans hate the people in Atlanta. There is a cultural divide in the cities. There is something in the water every time these two teams play. It is built different, my friends. This is the perfect Thursday night game on Thanksgiving because it snorts cocaine. It is awesome football. Moving on, number 7, Dodgers Giants, the classic. They both used to be based in New York when it was the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants, New York baseball Giants. Look, you've had the classic moments year after year after year. Last year, you had 213 combined wins for these teams. Then they played in the playoffs, and you had the Wilmer Flores. Did he swing? Did he not? I don't think he swung, but who cares? The refs were paid by the Dodgers that day. This is always fun. You have 4 World Series rings since 2010. You have the Eric Gagne versus Barry Bonds back in 2004. This is a banger of a rivalry, one of the best in baseball. Number 6, we have the big game, Michigan, Ohio State. You get the big house. You get the horseshoe. This is unreal. Every year, the last game of the Big Ten schedule, you got the Wolverines, you got the Buckeyes. I know Ohio State has won most of the last few years. I think they're like 10-1 in their last 11, something like that. I get it, but it's always a fun game. Even the one year that JT Barrett may or may not have been down, that was an awesome game. These two teams are always hyper competitive, and it's been hyper competitive for a long, long time. Moving into the top 5, the best rivalry in the NFL nowadays is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said with the Saints and the Falcons, all of these games matter. There is never a dull moment here. Even when Lamar Jackson doesn't play, RG3 is, I don't even know at that point. Even last year with Tyler Huntley, that game went into overtime. These games are always decided by one score. They are always either going to overtime or on some last-second drive. You have the classics. You have the 39-38 game in 2017. You have the Immaculate Extension game. You have the playoff game. They've played 3 times in the playoffs since 2008. Lots and lots of fun there at number 5. Number 4, we have the Iron Bowl, Alabama-Auburn. It is one of the best, if not the best, college football rivalry. Again, these games always matter. Even if Alabama is really good, Auburn's not very good. It matters to these schools. It matters to these teams. It matters to the fans. And that's what I think matters here, that there's never a time that this game is irrelevant, because guess what? One of them is almost always competitive. Almost always one of them is fighting for a college football playoff spot, a national championship, a Sugar Bowl appearance, SEC title, what have you. It always matters at the end of the season. Number 3, we have the preeminent college basketball rivalry. We have UNC, Duke, Roy Williams, Coach K, Dean Smith, the dude before Coach K, who I have no idea who it is, but they did make the Final Four in 1964, so I guess they're a competent program. Anyways, you have all of the iconic moments. You have the Rivers shot with the North Carolina logo at center court. That is one of my favorite games of all time. You had the crazy Final Four game this year. Coach K's last game, his last ACC tournament game was a loss to North Carolina. His last NCAA tournament game was a loss to North Carolina. There is so much fun in this rivalry. They're both good. They're both always very good. That's a lot of fun. Number 2, the best American sports rivalry. We have the rivalry, Yankees-Red Sox. They're playing again tonight. They're playing again tomorrow night. This is the classic. You have the 04 series coming back from 03. You have the 03 ALCS with Brett Boone, Aaron Boone walking it off. You have all sorts of iconic moments. You have the Bucky bleeping dent moment back in 1978. Yeah, you had the 86 years without a title for the Red Sox, while the Yankees won a bunch. They won their first 26 in that. Wow, that's 26 World Series before the Red Sox won one. Anyways, before they won their another one. But it is the best rivalry in North American sports, but it does not compare to El Clasico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. When they play in the Copa del Rey, it's a banger. When they play in preseason, it's a banger. When they play twice a year in La Liga, it's a banger. There's superstars on both sides. No matter, even if a team has a down year, Barcelona has a down year, or Madrid has a down year, you have superstars everywhere. Bale, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Suarez, Puyol, Roberto Carlos, Casillas, Ter Stegen. There are so many incredible players through the years. Ronaldinho. You have players that have played on both sides. You have the one player that I'm forgetting that played for both of these teams and both of the Milan teams. But anyways, this is always fun. It is always must-watch TV. And even though there's no Messi, Ronaldo anymore, it is still must-watch TV.
There you go.
I like the list. I think there was a couple you were missing.
Okay, I will admit I did not think about Army Navy.
Army Navy.
Think about Army Navy.
They hate each other.
You didn't think about Lakers Celtics.
That's also one.
See, I don't know how much of a rivalry that is anymore.
Not anymore, but I think historically.
Historically, though, yeah.
Sure, like that's why I had the Bears Packers so low. That historically it's relevant, but the last 30 years, it's kind of older brother versus like
Yeah, which I can agree with. I have it pretty high on my list though, because it's like, when has the NFL ever moved a game out of the Thursday kickoff for a rivalry game other than Bears Packers?
Look,
I think that was for the 50th year anniversary, or it was whatever
100-year
anniversary it was.
But still,
So they're like, historically it is.
it's
For me,
just
too.
it's historically such a big rivalry that they changed their usual schedule for it.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
Bedlam too is a big rivalry. Oklahoma,
That's a
Texas.
good one. You could probably have a whole list of just college
Yeah.
football rivalries.
See,
here.
I had one.
Yeah, that's why I thought we should go
No.
by sport, honestly, because there's
That's
just
fair.
so many.
My number 2 was USA, Russia.
That's a good number
Ooh.
too.
Okay.
It goes past. You have the Miracle on Ice. You have all the sports. It goes past sports.
TJ Sochi.
The moon.
Yeah.
It goes to the moon. Landing.
1972
we get their first
Olympics.
Cold War. To me, that's the Brittany Griner situation. That's a rivalry. That's an underrated rivalry.
I had actually, so my 10 was USA Canada,
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
and I feel like that can apply to just like all the sports in general. Like I know
Yeah.
the women's national soccer team rivalry there is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
The hockey rivalry there is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Red Sox Yankees is one, but that just I've grown
Red
up.
Sox Yankees was my 4.
I've grown up on that, and like now going to school in Mass, we're texting each other nonstop about the game. Devers to a home run, I get 40 texts. It's the same way for them when Carpenter hit a home run.
Mm-hmm. All right. Keep going.
What else should we talk about here? I had Penguins versus Capitals on here because as of late that's been a pretty big one.
Okay.
It's always like in the playoffs too. Like I remember like Crosby and the Penguins were just the bane of Ovechkin and the Capitals' existence for like years and years and years. It feels like no matter what would happen, the Penguins would always find a way to win. And then next thing we know, in 2018 comes around, the Capitals finally get a win, and then they carry that all the way to winning a Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, for college too, you can do your own list. Bam, LSU's Giant, Miami, Florida, not Miami, Florida, Miami, FSU, Georgia, Florida. Not as much anymore. Syracuse, Georgetown was a big rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse,
Oh yeah, those Big East games. Those were
yeah,
always
any
fun.
Big East rivalry. I mean, any Big East school was a rivalry. Not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
USC, UCLA is kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I contemplated
It's not
that
as
one.
chippy.
Yeah.
USC Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's probably a bigger one.
The
Michigan,
Georgia
Notre Dame used
Iowa?
to be one until they stopped playing.
BYU Utah.
Yeah, Nebraska, Ohio State in the 90s.
See, one I've always liked, Texas Oklahoma, Red River Shootout. Like you can, and heck, all of them have names too, so you can just like, okay, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. That's always a good one.
Yeah. See,
Washington,
Bedlam to me is
Washington.
cool because in the name it's even like it's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's one. It can be 0-0 in the first quarter, and that game's probably going to still end up being like 55 to like 52. It's just about who gets that one stop in the fourth quarter.
Okay, one underrated one is Baylor TCU. They didn't play for a while because TCU wasn't in the same conference, but they've had the Battle of the Iron Skillet. They've had some crazy ones.
Okay.
Louisville, Kentucky is a good one. Multiple sports. West
Breaking
Virginia.
away from college, I have
Backyard
another
brawl.
one on here.
Okay.
Maple Leafs Canadians.
Okay. I probably should have put that one in my top 10.
That one is definitely like historically too. Like that's just up there for sure. Like even despite all the Leafs, like nowadays they just always lose in Game 7. But like,
Yep.
they blew
For
a
sure.
3-1 lead to the Canadians not last year, the year before.
When the Canadians were Western Conference champions.
The Western Conference champion Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, man.
To me, Yankees Mets is still a rivalry. It's
That's-
always chippy in the city when they're playing.
Do they play every year?
Yeah, it used to be they did a 3-3 series. Now what they do, it's the Yankees host 2 games, and the next day the Mets host, or the next 2 days the Mets host.
Okay, because like I remember in like 2008 in MLB Power Pros 2008, there would be one interleague matchup, and it would be like in May.
Yeah,
Right.
they play.
And
This year it's in
the main
July,
card in June.
and July, early August, and the tickets are insanely
Expensive.
expensive. It's also
Yeah, I'm sure.
the Mets fans are going to go to Yankee Stadium, and Yankees fans are going to go to Citi Field.
Oh man. All right. Any other iconic rivalries you guys want to mention?
This one's iconic to me personally. I guess more people out there that live in
Is
this
it El
area.
Trafico?
I was actually going to mention El Trafico. I was gonna say Kings versus Ducks. That one's a pretty big one. There's only been one playoff matchup though, but I know Kings and Ducks fans hate each other. So, but yeah, El Trafico is also up there.
Part 8 of Cavs Warriors.
Cavs Warriors was like a rivalry for. It was more like LeBron versus Steph.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I think it would have been a much better rivalry if Kevin Durant doesn't just insert himself in there.
Yeah.
Like then it's actually a rivalry as opposed to just like 8-1.
I think LeBron versus anyone is a rivalry. It can be a rivalry.
LeBron. So we could technically say
LeBron
Warriors
versus seeing double
Cavs.
vision.
Warriors versus Cavs. I would consider kind of a rivalry just because
You could do for a short span Heat Celtics.
Ooh, Heat Celtics is good.
I have some F1 ones.
Okay.
Hamilton versus Verstappen last year was pretty big.
Mhm.
That was kind of more of just like last year. I don't know how long you can consider them rivals for, but I know last year like their title fight was just ridiculous.
Mhm.
Hamilton Rosberg was another one. That one was like pretty crazy because they were teammates too, so it was crazy to see them like battling each other all the time.
Rams
Hunt
Niners
versus
nowadays.
Lauda is a historical one. I didn't have Rams Niners on here, but that one would have been good.
Okay.
What about Niners?
Blackhawks Red Wings.
Niners Seahawks.
Niners Cowboys.
Ooh,
Niners Cowboys is good.
they did play in the playoffs this year, but I feel like that one hasn't been relevant.
That's more like historic.
It's relevant because they played on Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
That's more of a historic one too.
What's the worst NFL rivalry?
Oh God. Rams Chargers. That's a bad one.
I think Jets.
It's not much of a rivalry. It could be this year though. It could be this year.
Yeah, Jets Giants is pretty weak.
It's tough to have a rivalry when you're not playing on a consistent basis.
Yeah, true.
Right. You play in the preseason, right? Most years.
Yeah, but like,
Okay, what's the worst interdivision rival? Like, I don't know, like Bengals Ravens. Obviously, that's not the answer, but like Bengals Ravens or Patriots Jets.
Dolphins Jets.
Yeah.
Okay, there are some iconic moments there. You have the Monday Night Miracle game.
I guess so. Patriots Jets is pretty one-sided. I feel like
to me, like I want the
Jets do have the playoff win over the Patriots.
As of late, though, I think it's
it's a rivalry. Like when it was
okay.
It's intense when they play.
I'm sure
the games are usually always. This year they weren't.
Let me really think here. I know Dolphins
Jags has been really one-sided.
I mean, Yankees Orioles supposed to be a rivalry, but like it's.
You mean
Dodgers Padres is weak.
Like I want the Orioles to do well, so it's like that's not like I never want the Red Sox to do well. Like the Orioles, like if they made the playoffs, I wouldn't be upset.
I'm calling Dodgers Padres weak. The games can be good, the games can be exciting, but like 90% of the years, Padres are the little brother. So
yeah, the Dodgers own them, so that's not much.
Like literally, we have Dodgers fans on Twitter that are going back and calling out like when the Padres were like by themselves in first place in the division.
And
since then, yeah, and then and now the Dodgers are like 9 games ahead of them.
Jeez.
So,
all right. Do you guys know that the Marlins are 12-1 against the Nationals this year?
I'm not really that surprised, honestly.
I think most teams have good records against the Nationals.
Yeah, the Braves are 9-2 entering today. The Mets are 8-2, but the Marlins take the cake. They're 12-1. So take that for what that's worth. We are approaching the 2-hour mark. Anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap it up? I want to wrap it up with some education on the uSTADIUM app here because did you guys know? Okay. We're coming in. Austin says Ohio State fans are so annoying. And then he says Rufus better than Brutus. So I would imagine Rufus is the Ohio Bobcats mascot or the Naked Mole Rat. Either one works. Anyway, did you guys know? Okay. One, did either of you watch Kim Possible when you were kids?
Yes.
Okay. 2, have you heard the Kim Possible like ringtone in the last 5 years?
Yeah, I know what the ringtone is.
Those people are absolute kings and queens. Okay, moving on. Jack, continue.
Okay, I don't know where that came from, but yeah.
Rufus is the name of the Naked Mole Rat.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Oh my goodness, Jack.
It was forever ago. I was like 3, 4. So I
sure.
need to pull that one out of the recesses of the brain. But
Okay,
I do
sure,
remember.
Jack.
Okay. Did you guys know we have a scoreboard feature on the uSTADIUM app?
Yes, we do.
And when you tap a game on the scoreboard, like let's say I want to make a take about Dodgers Angels right here, I can tap that take right there. Takes me right to the screen where I can make a take for that game.
And it plugs in the time, plugs in the sport for you. So you don't have to. Well, is the game starting at 7:30 or 7:35, right? Because sometimes that can be the difference. Sometimes, like if you say Jose Altuve is going to hit a leadoff extra base hit, like I had the one day, it matters. What's the best hit? What's the best take you guys have hit on so far?
I think my take last night, I said Devers and Stan were going to hit a home run. It happened in the second inning.
Oh, I need to check. I need to scroll through.
Everyone disagreed with me too. I was like, okay, thank you.
It is pretty satisfying when a lot of people disagree, and like there was like this random NBA game that I said would hit the over, and like 6 people disagreed, and the over hit. So
I had one. I said Jamar Chase would have exactly 5 catches against the Titans. He had exactly 5 catches. Thanks, PFF. All right. Anything else on the docket?
I want to give a shout out to Clayton Kershaw. I know we talked about him a little bit, but a lot of people doubted him. A lot of people want him to leave.
Kershaw is the reason I wore the shirt. So
a lot of people want him to leave the
Angel
Dodgers,
Fulton,
and he's shown
Kershaw?
he's not done yet. And hopefully, in the playoffs, he can not be his old self. Hopefully, he can be a little better. But he's had not only an amazing
he did
year,
it once.
but an amazing career, and he's very
Good
underappreciated.
against the Mets.
Yeah. So
I think he's a very underappreciated pitcher. So shout out to him.
He and DeGrom go like back and forth with the best ERA plus ever among starters. Like obviously it stinks because Mo Rivera pitched so many innings that he gets the gold text, but it's not really fair to say comparing him to anyone else because he's a reliever for the gold text for ERA plus. But Kershaw and DeGrom just seemingly go back and forth with the italicized text best active player. Did you guys know that Miguel Cabrera has the highest active batting average?
I know he's been raking this year though.
Yes, he
Yeah,
has.
he's been
All-star. My God.
Yeah, still third base all night.
Yeah. then he took home.
Yeah, it was a bad throw and he took home.
Oh, did I tell you guys about I am playing Out of the Park Baseball 23. I'm playing as the Troy Haymakers. I had a home game against, I think, Chicago. And I'm down 3 runs in the 9th. I load the bases, score the first run, score the second run, score the third run. Bases are still loaded. And I'm like, runner on third, because I think it was like back-to-back wild pitches or something. It's 1871. Give it a break. It's tie game. I have a runner on third, and I'm like, I'm going to squeeze bunt here. I don't usually like to bunt. I'm going to squeeze bunt here and get the dub. My guy stole home. I won a game on a walk-off steal of home. A straight steal of home at that, because he didn't put down the bunt. So I won a game in 1871 on a steal of home.
There we go. All right, I think that's a good note to end it on. I got nothing else.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
we're-
Someone is on my door. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring a ding ding, that Le'Veon bell, that notification bell, so you get notified when we upload any of our content. Make sure you have the little bars next to it so you're notified with all of our content, not personalized, not none. We want all of our beautiful videos going into your eardrums. So Josh, thank you. Jack, thank you. Also, a huge shout out again to Alex and Mac who came on for the Juan Soto segment almost 2 hours ago. We appreciate it. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, episode 80 next week. Also, Aaron Donald trains with knives.
Super Bowl champion Aaron
Oh,
Donald
okay.
trains with knives.
I have to hit the end broadcast.